Hello, I have chosen as my graded assignment lesson 2, case number 3 of the ethical dilemma. Case number 3 is talking about a social worker who was working for the hospital and the hospital downsized and jobs was eliminated. The social worker then took a job to the home health, which is care, which are affiliated with the hospital. Okay. Then at one time, the social worker at the hospital in the home-based experience, it seemed as though there was a conflict of interest because the social worker at one time worked at the hospital with the patient, and then the same social worker started working for the home health agency. But it has already been defined that the home health agency and the hospital is in affiliation. So I would think that a social worker that was working for the hospital and then in turn start working with the home health care, there should not be a conflict of interest with the patients. Okay, so then there were several questions that was asked at the end of this case. The first question was, if a patient chooses to continue with her hospital social worker as her home health social worker, is there really a conflict of interest for the social worker? If so, what do you believe the conflict of interest should be? First of all, like I've already stated, I really do not see where there is a conflict of interest. Okay, but from the Code of Ethics 1.06, it describes or defines what a conflict of interest is. And if I may, I'll read it to you. Social workers should be alert to and avoid conflict of interest that interfere with the exercise of professional discretion and impartial judgment. Social workers should inform clients when a real or potential conflict of interest arises and take reasonable steps to resolve the issue in a manner that makes the client interest primary and protect client interest to the greatest extent possible. Okay, I understand this to mean that the social worker who at one time was working at the hospital, and when her job was downsized, she no longer had a job there at the hospital. She had a client there, and then once she or the client moved to the home health care, she was still doing social work for this particular client. If she explains to this client and let the client know what is going on and get consent from the client for her to continue being her social worker from the hospital to the home health care, then I think everything will be okay. Also, the social worker patient who was at the hospital did transfer to the home health care too. It was just a bed came available, a room came available, and since the hospital did some downsizing for its workers, somehow or another the hospital ended up doing downsizes for the patient also. So the social worker is going to meet with the client's mom. Her mom's name is Mrs. Smith. And Mrs. Smith and the social worker will sit down and discuss the situation of the given client. Hello, Miss Smith. Hi. My name is Mrs. Walker, and the reason that I call you here today, I would like to discuss your mother moved from the hospital to the home health care. And the most important thing that I would like to talk about here today is that I would like to continue to be your mom's social worker. Do you have any problem with that? No. Okay, very good. I would like you to know, I would like to let you know that your mom is a very, very good patient. Whenever I visit your mama on any given time, she's always in good spirits. And whenever we have to do any kind of interaction, she's very, in agreement with what is going on. Okay, so then therefore, if I have your agreement along with your mother's that I can continue to be her social worker, then that's good. So at that point, I really do think as long as we let the patient know that we're going to do some transferring and get the consent from the patient, then everything is okay. Thank you, Ms. Smith, and you have a very good day. Okay, and then the second question was asked, what underlying social work value may be jeopardized in the above working arrangement? I think that in the Code of Ethics, you have the 1.07, which is the privacy and confidentiality. I think it was jeopardized because if you read the 1.07 privacy and confidentiality Code of Ethics in the Part H, it reads as follows. Social workers should not disclose confidentiality information to a third party payer unless client have authorized such disclosure. Okay, but then again, we've already discussed and talked not only to the patient but the patient's mother, Mrs. Smith, as well, and we have gotten consent, for any privacy confidentiality records that might need to be transferred from the hospital to the home health care. Okay, and then also there was a third part to this question, and the third part was, are there any standards of practice being violated in this working arrangements as set forth by the NASW Code of Ethics? Which ones/ones? Okay, as already mentioned, there was the 1.06, which is the conflict of interest, and 1.07, which is the privacy and confidentiality Code of Ethics. I have done the very best that I think that I know how to do to explain what I think both of these 1.06 and 1.07 is, and how it did apply to the case number 3. Thank you.